Good morning. Good morning. We're going to be talking about some decisions today. Hope everybody is doing well. All right, getting it all set up so we can go live. Okay, we are going to go live and talk about some decisions. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. Okay, welcome today. Welcome to Friday here at the Hive Society. So glad you could join us. Okay, it's almost set up. Got set up for our live. And today I'm going to be talking to you about decisions. Oh, those fun things that we have to make every single day. And what happens when we make decisions, and what really is going on when it comes to making decisions, and how do we get caught up in the fear of decision, the fear of making the mistake. If we make the wrong decision, how do we fix that decision? And then, it just creates this little, downhill spiral sometimes as business women. And what I wanted to do is to talk to you about, making decisions and making the right decisions. And this could be an hour long plus 90 minutes all on decisions, but I'm going to just give you the short, quick version for today. So I just want to talk to you about some quick decisions. So, think about it, decisions. How many, have you counted today how many decisions you've already made? Right? Your subconscious is making the decisions for you as well. Research has said that we make on average about 35,000 decisions every single day, 35,000 decisions. And we don't even realize that we're doing it. Right. And then about 226.1 decisions around food each and every day. What am I going to drink? What am I going to eat? Is that going to be good for me? Right? What do I want to put on that? Do I want to have, dressing on my salad? Do I want salt and vinegar? Like what are all these decisions that we are making? Right. And then how do you make the most impactful decisions? The ones that have long-lasting effect, that are a positive way to move you forward, right? Think about the decisions that you've made in your life so far. Did you decide to have kids? Did you decide not to have kids? Did you decide to get married? Did you decide not to get married? Did you decide to get divorced, right? What did you decide to wear today? How did you do your hair? What makeup did you decide to wear? Did you wear any makeup, right? So these decisions, they're simple little decisions that go on and on and on and on and on. Look, I got married. I decided to get married at 18 years old. Well, at 20, he decided to get divorced. We had a son. I ended up a single mom on welfare, right? Had to make new decisions, had to make new decisions, had to make new decisions. When my husband asked me to marry him, I really had to think hard about it. Like, ooh, is this a decision I want to make? Right? He asked me in a park, and he waited like what felt like forever, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the moment to make a decision. Do I want that in my life again? Do I want to move forward in that? Right? And, we're celebrating 30 years in a couple weeks, right? So that decision worked, but let me tell you, there's been a lot of decisions in that process. Same with business. When we decided to start a business, do we really want to do this? Is this what we really, how we're going to do it? What do we want to offer? What do we not want to offer? How much are we going to charge our clients? What clients do we want? right? Oh, what bank account do we open? Do we open up a checking? Do we open a savings? Is it a business account? Is it a personal account? Right? Decisions every single day. These decisions come up in our businesses. And what happens a lot of times is we get going in all these decisions and we're making quick decisions and we're moving forward. And then like we're not making decisions and we're trying to figure out what happened, right? To be a woman-owned business, that was a decision. It wasn't done idly, it was created for the best effect for the business. I have a business partner. Guess what? I have 51% of the company. He has 45. Do that math. We also have 4 children that each have 1 share in our company, right? So it all adds up, but we made conscious decisions around how we were going to do that, right? I made decisions. We made decisions as a company, hiring people. When do I hire my first employee? When do I fire the first one? Right? These are decisions that have to be made in business, right? What CRM do we get? Okay. Are we going to do this webinar? Are you going to do these lives on Fridays, Kimberly? All these decisions that we have to put towards making a business be successful, making a life be successful, right? Send my kids to school, decide homeschool, are they going to go to college? Am I saving for college? Or, the decisions never end. You getting that figured out? Like they are always happening. They never end. Did you know that not making a decision when it's time to is still a decision? When you don't make a decision because you're feeling overwhelmed or you don't know which way to go and life is happening around you and you still don't make that decision. And even when people are trying to force you to make a decision and you don't make a decision, now sometimes, you got to hold on and wait, but then there's a time when you either have to make the decision or the decision gets made for you. Okay? I'm just not willing to do that on a very regular basis. Right? I want to be in charge of my decisions. So think about it. What decisions do you need to make this week, right? Well, let me tell you about some decisions that cause business owners, especially women, to get caught up to where they don't want to make decisions. So the first one that I talk about when I talk on this one is a knee-jerk decision, right? Ever heard of a knee-jerk? It's like when you go to the doctor and they hit your knee with that little thing and then your knee jerks up, right? It's like a knee-jerk reaction. That's what they call it, right? So it really is just a reflex, right? So sometimes you're making knee-jerk decisions, which are reflex decisions, right? And what happens is you're doing it as a reflex out of an emotion, right? You're responding to that emotion of how that makes you feel, what you don't want to have happen. It creates a sense of urgency because it needs to happen now. So it's a reflex. I got to just make whatever decision, whatever that is, you're making a knee-jerk decision, right? It's a lot of times based on assumptions, right? Versus real information. It's based around, having that space of, oh my gosh, I got to make this decision now, because if I don't make this decision, I'm going to look bad, whatever the case may be, right? But businesses close and marriages end because of emotional knee-jerk decisions, right? Because we're responding to a situation without having all the information. We're responding to it out of emotions. I often have said to clients along the way is that, look, your business doesn't have any emotion. The emotion comes from you. So when you're making emotional decision, understand it might not always be the best thing for your business because the business doesn't have the emotion you do. So you have to make the right decision for the business and your values, your vision, what your beliefs are, what's most important for you. You got to make those decisions based on that, not the emotion that's coming from a situation in the moment. Emotions can get you caught up, right? and get you to where you lose focus on your vision and lose focus on, what happens. It's that teeter-totter effect. Okay. Some of you might know what a teeter-totter is. Use the scales, the balance of scales or teeter-totter, right? And so a teeter-totter is kind of like this, right? You have your arms. When your emotions are high, your intellect goes down, right? And so what happens is when you're making an emotional decision, your emotions are high and you've lost the intellectual space for you to be able to make the best decision. And, it works the other way too. When when your intellect is too high, you have no emotion and connection with people. So you got to, create that balance effect of the teeter-totter or the scale, right? You gotta get it as close to balance as possible. But knee-jerk decisions often come when you're out of balance, right? So how do you solve that? Well, you solve knee-jerk decisions by being aware of your automatic responses, right? So number one is making sure that the responses that you have are not automatic. You go, whoa, hold on, take a minute and take a look at this. Am I tired? Right? Ask yourself, am I feeling overwhelmed right now? Okay. I just don't want to have to deal with the consequences of this decision, right? Check in with yourself to see. Sometimes when it comes to these kinds of decisions, you got to hold your tongue. Cinch it down. Don't say a word. Okay. Think it through. Say, hold on. Right? Because look, people make life-altering decisions on a knee-jerk decision, right? And that's not what you want. Pardon me. Let your emotions calm down. Then make the best decision for the situation. Take a deep breath, count to 5, right? That. Right? And go, okay, is this the best decision for my business? That's the best thing that you can do when you have knee-jerk decisions. Okay, so what next? How about a hip shot, right? Shooting from the hip, right? That's what they say, shooting from the hip. All right. These are decisions that you're making without considering the impact that the decision is going to have on your business, right? You're not even considering the impact it's going to have on your finances, on the people that are involved, on your relationships, right? They're usually fast-paced, fast responses. You feel rushed into making the decision, right? You often will have like buyer's remorse because of it, right? And you'll make the decision and then you're like, oh crap, what did I do? Okay. Right. And then you have to work twice as hard to make that decision work. Right. So, doing fast, rushed, decisions. Think of it, car salesmen, right? Car salesmen got a bad rap of, being bad guys. I don't want to talk to the salesman, right? All salesmen got a bad rap from car salesmen. But what they were doing is trying to get you to make a fast rush decision, a hip shot decision, right? So it became a bad reputation for the industry and for sales because they wanted you to make that really fast decision, right? And so, now there's car companies that say, look, we've already put the price on our website. You can come down and take a test drive, but we're not negotiating anything. No hip shot decision. They've taken that away. They said, look, you get to make a decision. You can make an emotional decision. You can make a hip shot decision. You can make whatever decision you want based on this information. We're not going to haggle with you. Right. So that's way some car companies has trying to change that perception of car salesmen. Right. So just know that, it's out there. You're going to make hip shot decisions. You're going to go to events and they're going to, do the pitch, what we call the sales pitch. And, and you're going to listen to it and you're going to go, yes, I need it now. And you're going to make that decision. And it can be the right decision for you. Just know you might have to work a little harder to make that decision work. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. It's just a decision. And you get to just understand the consequences of that decision. So when you're going to do things and you know that, you have critical information like, oh, my bank account is kind of low, I better not do this. Or if I do this, am I getting the right terms that I need? Am I asking for the right support? Am I looking for the right mentor? Don't just make a hip shot decision saying the first one that comes to you. Find the right person to support you. Find the right connection for you that's going to work with you and your business. Right? Give yourself that chance. Right? You want to work smarter. You don't want to work harder. Okay. So that's the solution. Work smarter, not harder, right? To make a decision, because when somebody's trying to rush you into the decision, take a reasonable amount of time. Okay. Nobody's telling you have to make that decision right now. You know what? I'm going to have to think about that. Give me 5 minutes. And then just think about it, right? Make a decision, right? You might need a day, you might need 24 hours, you might need a week, okay? But don't sit on the fence, okay? Don't sit there and wait too long, because if you wait too long, first off, that hurts because you're going back and forth and you're kind of teetering that fence. And it doesn't feel good. You're like, oh, I want to avoid that person so that I don't have to answer that question, right? That you don't want to avoid people. That's not what it's about. Okay. It's just saying, look, you know what? I need 24 hours for that. I cannot make that decision today. And I know sometimes, especially if you're looking to buy the right service, look, you got by the end of today to make this decision. You got this hour to make that decision. Okay, then make it within the hour and then be okay with whatever your decision is and then make it work, right? So just make the decision the best that you can with the information that you have. Okay, for my analytical people out there, I'm just going to say, you're not always going to have all the information. Make the best decision you can with the information that you have right now. Okay, because ladies, let me tell you a little secret real quick. Okay, here's a little secret. You know how we have been told for many, 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 many eons that women just change their mind? Guess what? That means that we have a free pass. We have a free pass. And what that means is that, we've been told so often that, oh, she just changed her mind. My wife, she has a prerogative to just change her mind. Yes. Look, I'm going to make a decision with the information that I have right now. Okay. Then I'm going to get new information. And with that new information, I need to make a new decision based on that new information, you're doggone straight. I'm going to make a new decision based on new information, and I will make that work, right? And then if I get more information, then I'm going to make another new decision based on what's most important. Look, you make decisions in your business every single day, and not all of them work. But when you get more information and the more knowledge that you have, the better decisions you can make means you can make a new decision, and then you make that one work, and then you make a new decision and you make that one work. Okay. Are you getting my point? It's okay to make a decision and then make a new decision around it. Okay. Not out of buyer's remorse, not out of, an emotional connection, not out of being rushed in it. It's like, you know what? I made the best decision in that moment. And now I have new information. I'm going to make a new decision. Okay. So just know that those things are possible and it's okay. And if somebody calls you wishy-washy, make sure that you're not being wishy-washy. You just check in, do a self-check. Was that kind of wishy-washy? No, I had new information. Guess what? With new information, I get to make a new decision. All right. Don't let people bully you into their decisions. All right. And make a decision, because you don't want to give up control and let somebody else make all the decisions for you. Now, there's times when that works. Okay. Let me explain a little situation here. It's called decision fatigue. It's real. You make so many decisions in the day. You go home and like, I don't know what I want to eat. Right. You go home. I go home. My husband says, all right, babe, where do you want to go? I'm like, tonight's your night to cook, babe. He's like, oh, it is. Okay. So where are we going? I'm like, I don't know. And I don't care. He goes, well, we can go down to the Chinese place. Babe, I don't eat Chinese. That's a no. See, I can make that decision quickly, right? But for him, he's like, well, where do you want to go? I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. Now, that's what I used to say. But now I'm much clearer. I can do this in decision fatigue. What I can do is go, babe, my criteria of what I can and cannot eat. So pick a spot. Okay. I don't care within my criteria, right? Because, I have some food allergies. I'm gluten free. Like there's something places I just can't eat at, right? And feel good later, right? So it's okay. You will get into decision fatigue sometime. And decision fatigue, there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's just that you're just feeling overwhelmed. You've had enough. Your brain is like going, I'm really tired. Please just let me sleep. Right? But understand what causes that, right? Understand that when you're caught up in that, like, chaos happens sometimes in life and in business and when you're working and all these things happen and you're making more and more decisions. And then by the end of the day, you're like, oh, why am I so exhausted? Right? Because your brain's been working hard. And so you just have to make sure several things with decision fatigue is make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Do you know that your brain does not function if you don't drink enough water? Like, I don't care statistically how much water you're supposed to drink per day to stay hydrated. Look, your brain is like this sponge in your head. And in order for it to expand and grow and keep you moving forward, it has to have water to be able to expand. It's like a sponge, right? If you ever seen a dried up sponge, it's like this squishy little hard thing, but when you add water, it like grows, right? Your brain's the same way. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water. I drink water for my brain. I don't care about the other part, right? And be okay with others making decisions for you. Look, if you're making all the decisions in your business, it might be time to hire somebody to delegate some things out to it, whether it be virtually or live. That's irrelevant. Get somebody else to make some of the decisions that are mundane that you don't need to be making. And that will help get you out of decision fatigue. All right. The last one that I'm going to just say is life and death situations, life and death decisions. So look, first responders, doctors, nurses, they make these life and death decisions every single day. The average person doesn't have to, right? And so when it comes to our businesses, what happens is we think in our brain, because it's fight or flight, right? It's a real part of who we are. But what happens is we think that if we make this decision in our business could fail, right? Life, death, right? If I say this, then somebody's not going to like me. And then if they don't like me, then I'm going to fail, right? So we get caught up in this life and death situation thing in our mind as business owners. And I'm going to tell you that, most of the time that's not the case, right? What we want to do is make decisions, the best decisions possible. And every time you think that, oh my God, I'm going to fail, why don't you say, oh my goodness, like, I might learn something here. What do I need to learn? Right? Every single time I have made a mistake, I have gotten to learn something new to not repeat that mistake. Okay. So you learn something new in the mistakes. Don't let the fear of failure stop you in your business, stop you from making decisions that are right for your business, stop you from making decisions that might be a little risky for your business. Look, I'm not I'll be the first one to admit it. If you compare apple to oranges, okay, my husband is the orange and I'm the apple, okay? So my husband will make risky decisions, like crazy things. He wants to, he's gone skydiving and he's gone climbing up some, great hills. And he just climbed up to base camp Mount Everest, right? He's like, the dude wants to take these risks. He wants to take some risks in business. And I'm like, whoa, Nelly, hold up. Well, in reality, like, I take risks, but my risks are a little more calculated. Like, I got to plan that and see what the risk factor is before I make that decision. My husband's like, oh, this sounds like fun. Let's do it. I'm like, whoa, right? So, so anyway, it was just kind of funny because I still make risky decisions in my business, right? I just have to think about it for a minute. And then I make the decisions. And then I go, okay, this one's a little too risky. So then I'll say to my husband, how can we prevent? And I say that because he's also my business partner, right? Is how can we do this where it takes a risk, but the impact of that risk isn't going to hurt us? Like, I'll let him think that through. If he wants to take a riskier decision, he's got to come back to me and go, well, here's what I've come up with. When I have the information, I can take that risk, right? So just understand that most of the decisions that you're going to make on an everyday basis are not life and death decisions. Okay. If you're crashing your car, that might be one time, right? If, you're stepping out onto the street, that might be one time, but on a regular basis in your business, they're not. So don't get so caught up in a life or death kind of situation or a decision-making mindset, right? Don't be afraid to make decisions in your business, right? If I decide this, then I could fail and my business could crumble, right? Instead, if I decide this, what do I need to prevent my company from failing? Who do I need support from to make sure that it doesn't crumble? Do you see the difference, right? It's if this, then how can I make that happen? So then it doesn't, crumble down. You just have to put a little bit more effort into it so that you can let go of that life or death mindset, right? Look, ladies and gentlemen, stop and take a deep breath. When you're making decisions around your money, when you're making decisions around your business, when you're making decisions around your kids, when you're making decisions for yourself and your self-care and all of the things, just the first thing that I want you to do is just stop and take a deep breath. Square your shoulders. I can make this decision. I know what I need to do. And then make the decision and be okay with the fact that you could make a new decision. And be okay with the fact that, guess what? There's another opportunity for another decision. But don't let other people make your decisions in your business unless you know the consequences of it. Like I know the consequences every time I say to my husband, you pick where we're going to eat. It means I might not eat what I really want to eat, but there will be something on the menu that I can eat and I can make a decision about that. So know what it is. Decisions are decisions. Now, I go into decision-making all on the male dominant industry side too, and it's a little bit different than everything I've shared here. But, that's another one. But just so you know, my goal, my hope for you is that you can make the best decisions possible for you in your business. And the best thing that you can do is calm your emotions down so that you're not making knee-jerk decisions. Don't feel rushed and make hip shot decisions. And stop being stuck in the cycle of life or death situation kind of decisions. Really just take a deep breath, look at what is before you, make a decision on it. And then if it doesn't work out the way that you wanted it to, guess what? You make a new decision and you course correct it. I'm not saying it's all easy. I'm just saying that it's possible. And if you can look at it as possible and making the best decisions for you to grow in your business, well, that's the goal. All right. Well, I hope this was insightful for you on making the best decisions for you and your business. And put a note down below. Let me know what you thought. Okay. Have a wonderful week. I will talk to you next Friday. Bye, y'all.